So now let us discuss impulsive force. So what is impulsive force? So a force which is relatively higher in magnitude for relatively shorter time, it acts for very short time, is called an impulsive force. And if we say impulsive force, see, even though it acts for a very short interval of time, but it changes the momentum of the body in a finite magnitude, like the momentum changes. So even though F delta T, this T is very, very small, but the F is very, very big. So their product is a relatively finite thing, and that is nothing but change in momentum, right? And eventually our momentum changes. So momentum is changes by a finite quantity. Now let us discuss some important point. First is the gravitational force, spring forces, they are never impulsive in nature. So these forces basically, they are acting and they can't change suddenly. So impulsive force is a very higher force which suddenly comes into picture. But these spring forces and gravitational forces, they can never be impulsive. They will gradually change. Normal, tension, friction, these are case dependent. Sometimes they might be impulsive, sometimes they might be non-impulsive. And next is, an impulsive force can only be balanced by another impulsive force, and that will be the reaction force of the impulse itself, right? Now, let us discuss some of the impulsive forces. First is the normal, the impulsive normal. In what cases the impulsive force, the normal is impulsive? So in case of collision, normal forces to the surface of the collision which is in contact, these, when collision happens, these normal forces which acts between them are always impulsive. Let us have a look at the example. So this is an example. These blocks, two blocks are going to collide. So when these collides, then whenever they come in contact, suddenly what happens? These two normals, they are only there when they are in contact and collision is happening. So these are impulsive, but these normal which are acting with the, which are basically always there, which are opposing mg, they are non-impulsive. So here N1, N2, they are non-impulsive. So these are basically, these two are impulsive and these two are non-impulsive normals. One more case where this block is falling from top and it is falling on the bottom block. So when suddenly this falls, so what happens is the normal contact force which is acting over here, this is impulsive because that suddenly comes, and what will happen? This ball will come and suddenly it might jump, right? So this is impulsive, and when this is impulsive, there is an impulsive force on this and it is balanced by another impulsive force from here. So here both the normals which are acting between this surface and this surface, both the normals are impulsive in nature. One more case is there, when this block is moving in this direction and this block is coming from this direction, collision is happening. So again, these normals with the ground, they are basically non-impulsive. But what about these? So they are impulsive forces, they suddenly come. But here is the thing, one second. So when forces happen, so on this block, on first block, this is an impulsive force. On second block, this is an impulsive force. So this force, impulsive force, has two components. One is this and another is this. So this also must be impulsive. So we will say this is impulsive, and this is impulsive, but this will be non-impulsive, right? Due to this impulsive force, it is possible that this might leave the ground, but due to this impulsive force, the ground will stop the ball and this might also be impulsive. So I'll say this and this, these two are impulsive, while this is a non-impulsive force in this particular situation. Let us discuss the next situation where one ball is coming from there and then colliding. So again, when this ball collides, so suddenly there is an impulsive force on that ball, and this ball is having one force in this direction. So these two are obviously impulsive. What about this normal? So if this is impulsive, it will have two components, one along that, one along that. So there is no one to balance that force, but this impulsive force will be balanced by this, and so this has to be impulsive. So we'll say both the normals, this normal and this normal, both the normals are impulsive. Now let us discuss impulsive friction. So in what case our friction is impulsive? So we'll say if the normal between two objects is impulsive, then if friction is required there where normal force is acting, if friction is required to that surface, then it will also be impulsive. So let us discuss that this case, if this ball is perfectly vertical, these two are perfectly vertical, then there won't be any need of friction. So friction won't even be there. But if they are slightly tilted, then whatever friction is acting between this surface and this surface, So that friction will be impulsive in nature. Next is this. So here this normal was impulsive, right? And if there comes a friction suddenly into picture, then that friction is also going to be impulsive. Now next is impulsive tension. So when a string jerks, so basically if there is a string which is loose, I have an object over here and I release this, what happens? This object will come all the way up to here and suddenly it will experience a jerk. So when a string experiences jerk, so then basically equal and opposite tension. So a tension will suddenly act over here, and on this ball also suddenly a tension will act. So these tension forces are basically impulsive in nature. So we'll say, and what about the direction? There are two which is equal and opposite. There are two cases which we are considering. So case number one is when our one end of the string is like fixed. So like just the example which I told, one end is fixed and other is basically moving. So the impulse which acts on the fixed end. So in this case, if the impulse acts over here, impulsive tension, when it acts, basically what an impulse does, it changes the momentum. When momentum changes, basically its velocity changes. So if I have to change the velocity, but this is a fixed point, velocity can't be changed, right? So this tension is not going to do any change in momentum. So we are saying the impulse which acts at the fixed end of the string cannot change the momentum of the fixed end because that is fixed. So momentum cannot be changed. But what about the other end? So the object which is attached to free end will however will undergo a change in momentum in the direction of the string. So basically the other ball. So this ball was falling, but suddenly there is an impulsive tension. So there will be a change in momentum in this particular direction, in the direction of the tension which is always along the string. The case, so the momentum remains unchanged. So here, when this string suddenly becomes in this direction, and suppose this ball is having a velocity in that direction. So what happens is that due to this impulsive tension, if this is V and this is theta, then we will say this V cos theta remains unaffected. So momentum in this direction, which is perpendicular to the direction of this string, it remains unaffected. What happens to this V sin theta? This V sin theta has to suddenly become 0 because this has to stop. If it doesn't stop, then what will happen? A string will either expand, right? And this is a non-elastic string, or it has to be break, right? So none of both the cases are possible in ideal situations. We will say V sin theta will suddenly become 0 due to this impulsive tension. So in this case, but the momentum which is basically perpendicular to the string itself is not going to change. So now let us discuss the case 2 where both ends of the strings are attached to two different objects or both are movable objects. So in this case, equal and opposite impulses acts on the two objects producing equal and opposite changes in the momentum. So both the momentum of both the objects is going to change, and now the total momentum of the system therefore remains constant because the tension or impulsive tension, to be precise, behaves as an internal force and each individual object is changed in direction of the string perpendicular to the string. However, no impulse acts because the string tension force can't act in the direction which is perpendicular to the string. So the perpendicular to the string, the no impulse acts in the x, and eventually we'll say momentum of each particle in the direction which is perpendicular to the string is going to remain same. So let us discuss this case. So here we have a ball which is hanging over here, and suddenly there are three cases. So in case 1, this ball A is coming and colliding. When that happens, what is going to happen? So when this ball is coming from this direction, it suddenly imparts a momentum to the other ball in that direction, and this ball basically, again we can say that we can divide the momentum in two directions which has been imparted on the bigger ball. So one is in the downward direction and one in the horizontal direction. So this has to vanish. But what about this? This will remain unaffected because the impulsive tension in the perpendicular direction, it will remain same. What about the B? If we say the B comes from horizontal, if this ball comes from horizontal, then there is no vertical direction. There is no vertical momentum achieved. So we will say when this comes and whatever is tension, the tension remains unchanged, right? And eventually the tension is going to be non-impulsive only. What happens if this comes from this direction? When it comes from this direction, this basically gives a velocity in that direction, which eventually decreases the tension. It is possible that this ball will be lifted and string will become loose and tension will suddenly become zero, but that tension is also non-impulsive. What about the normal forces? Whenever these balls, the smaller ball which is coming and the bigger ball which is, let's say, stationary initially, all the normals between them are always impulsive. Like in all three cases, the normal were always impulsive. And now let us discuss a question. Question says, there is a block of mass m and a pen. This is a block of mass m and pen of equal mass. They are perfectly balanced. Now suddenly a particle comes. Particle is also having small m mass, and it is falls on the pen and sticks to it. This particle falls and sticks to that. And now they are saying if the particle strikes the pen with a velocity v, find the speed with the which with the system moves just after the collision. So what happens? See, understand, we can expand this like this. So I am saying when this comes over here, what will happen? It will try to impart some momentum in that direction. So normal, impulsive normal comes between this particle in this pen balance, due to which it will gain a downward velocity. But as soon as this wants to go down, this will go up with the same speed or same velocity or same speed. Velocity will be different because this is downward, this is upward. So now I am saying the forces which are acting is impulsive tension and impulsive tension over here. So I will say for this, I can write, let us say initially this is 0 and this is also 0. Now this suddenly goes in upward direction with, let's say final is V final. Then this plus this, when this particle is trying and it becomes 2m, is also going with V final. So I will say that the pen and balance which is having 2m mass is going downward with V final, and that is happening due to impulsive normal between these two. And there is T dt which is acting, the tension into duration. So this is the impulse due to tension force. On the other block, if you see, I am not considering impulse between these two masses, the particle and the pen balance. Now on the other m, again there is T dt. For same time, the impulsive force is acting on the other object as well, and it is also going with V final from 0, starting from 0, and this is also going with V final, and initially it was already having some momentum. So if and this is the system, this is how they are related. So if I make it like this, then eventually I'll say this and this, they are in opposite direction, and the total momentum I am conserving, because the impulse, there is no net impulsive force, or we can say there is no net external force. These impulsive forces are just cancelling out each other. So that, like, what is impulsive force? Impulsive force is, impulse is nothing but change in momentum, and now my net impulse is 0, means net change in momentum is 0. So momentum will remain same. So what is the momentum? Initial momentum was only there with this bullet. So I'll say m into v. And now this 2m is going with v final, and this is also going with v final. And now I have, once I do that, I will get a picture like that. So this is going with v final. This is also going with v final. This was T dt and this was T dt. This was 2m and this was m. So I will say the net thing, initially only this bullet was, only this particular small particle was coming and striking. So this was coming with like v. So initially is mv and final is 2m plus m, or we can say 2m into v final plus m into v final. Here I have taken this direction to be positive. And eventually what does that give us? That gives us v final equals to v by 3. So this entire system moves with v by 3. This mass goes up with v by 3 and this mass sticks to it, and both of them goes down with v by 3. So that is what happens. So find the speed with which the system moves just after the collision. Answer will be, it moves with v by 3.